Have you ever paused in your prayers to truly consider why Surah Al-Fatiha occupies such a singular and unmatched place in Islam? It's far more than just another chapter of the Quran. It is the heart of our bond with Allah, recited in every unit of every prayer by Muslims worldwide. Surah Al-Fatiha lies at the very center of our worship, yet here's a question that demands reflection. Do we really comprehend the deep meaning behind these verses, or has their recitation become a mechanical habit, repeated without thought? This surah is not just a series of words. It's a sacred dialogue between the believer and the Creator. When you say, "All praise is due to Allah, Lord of all the worlds," know that Allah responds, "My servant has praised me." These aren't mere words. They represent a profound two-way exchange that draws you closer to your Creator in ways you might never have imagined. But ask yourself, how many of us truly feel this connection? How often do we ponder the profound implications embedded in these verses? Known as the opening, Surah Al-Fatiha serves as a gateway to spiritual clarity, emotional healing, and steadfast guidance. It provides a comprehensive blueprint for life, addressing the doubts, challenges, and longings of the human heart. This chapter is not meant only to be recited, it is intended to be embraced and lived. Imagine unlocking the full potential of these verses. How would that transform your prayers, your outlook, and your relationship with Allah? In this video, we will explore 10 transformative insights tucked within Surah Al-Fatiha. These aren't abstract concepts. They are practical, actionable lessons that can revolutionize how you understand the world, confront hardships, and deepen your bond with Allah. By internalizing these truths, you will enrich your prayers and uncover solutions to life's most pressing struggles. Take a moment now to reflect. How often do we rush through Surah Al-Fatiha without allowing its profound messages to touch our hearts? What if, just for a moment, we truly listen to what Allah conveys through this surah? First, Surah Al-Fatiha is a direct conversation with Allah. One of its most remarkable qualities is that it transcends mere recitation. It is a personal dialogue, a sacred exchange between you and your Creator. Every time you utter it, you engage with Allah, who responds to your words, evoking feelings of awe and gratitude. Picture yourself in prayer, saying, "All praise is due to Allah, Lord of all the worlds," and imagine Allah replying, "My servant has praised me." This is not metaphorical. It is a genuine moment of connection. This divine conversation is supported by a hadith where Allah says, "I have divided prayer between myself and my servant into two halves, and my servant shall have whatever he asks for." When you praise Allah in the first half of Surah Al-Fatiha, you perform an act of worship. When you make your plea in the second half, Allah promises to grant your requests. This dynamic exchange transforms Surah Al-Fatiha into a living dialogue rather than a routine recital. Think of moments when life's burdens overwhelmed you, when you felt isolated or misunderstood. Now imagine reciting Surah Al-Fatiha fully aware that Allah is listening and responding directly. Your prayer becomes a powerful source of comfort and strength, reminding you that you are never alone. Consider the story of a man who lost his job and felt adrift. During Salah, he began reciting Surah Al-Fatiha slowly, reflecting deeply on its meaning. When he reached "You alone we worship and you alone we ask for help," he understood that Allah was calling him to place full trust in Him. This realization brought him peace, and over time, he found a new job and renewed purpose. Surah Al-Fatiha reminds us that Allah is closer than we realize. Imagine a king who grants his subjects unrestricted access and personally attends to their needs. Allah's relationship with His servants is infinitely more intimate and accessible. Each time you pray, you have a direct line to the Creator of the universe. Reflect on how this awareness can transform your prayer from a hurried duty into a treasured conversation. Next time you recite Surah Al-Fatiha, envision yourself standing in a serene, open space, addressing Allah without distraction or mediation. Feel the weight of His presence and the reassurance of His response. Second, Surah Al-Fatiha is a complete guide to life. It offers more than spiritual solace. It provides a framework for living a balanced, purposeful life rooted in faith and gratitude. When you say, "All praise is due to Allah, Lord of all the worlds," you're reminded to cultivate gratitude, not as a fleeting emotion, but as a lifestyle. Recognizing Allah as the source of all blessings shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, fostering patience and resilience amid challenges. The verse "You alone we worship, and you alone we ask for help" encapsulates life's purpose. Worship isn't limited to rituals. It extends to every sincere action performed for Allah's pleasure. Whether it's work, study, or kindness, this verse urges you to infuse your life with intention and trust that Allah supports you in every difficulty. Take the example of a woman balancing roles as mother, wife, and professional. Often overwhelmed, she reflected on "Guide us to the straight path" during prayer and realized this guidance applied to everyday decisions too. Gradually, she found clarity and peace, able to prioritize her responsibilities effectively. The straight path represents a lifelong journey requiring constant guidance, striving not only to avoid wrongdoing but to pursue excellence in every area: personal growth, relationships, and career. By seeking Allah's direction, you anchor your choices in righteousness. Imagine standing at a crossroads, unsure which way to turn. Sincerely reciting Surah Al-Fatiha invites subtle signs and insights, an opportunity, a conversation, an intuition that help you find your way. This reminds us Allah's guidance is ever present for those who truly seek it. The verse, "Not the path of those who have earned your anger, nor of those who went astray," calls for self-awareness and mindful living. It encourages reflection on your actions and surroundings to ensure they align with faith and morality. A young man once caught in a cycle of harmful habits and bad company felt lost. Reflecting on this verse, he recognized his missteps, sought better influences, and returned to a life of faith and purpose. Third, Surah Al-Fatiha embodies the essence of Tawheed, the absolute oneness of Allah. Each verse reaffirms this core belief, grounding you in the truth that Allah alone is your creator, sustainer, and guide. This surah doesn't simply teach Tawheed, it calls you to live it daily. Saying, "You alone we worship and you alone we ask for help," is a declaration of total reliance on Allah, a commitment to align your thoughts, actions, and intentions with His unity. Surah Al-Fatiha is a timeless guide, inviting you to reflect deeply and embody its teachings. This spiritual commitment strengthens your faith and brings you closer to your Creator. By declaring, "You alone we ask for help," you acknowledge that every act of worship, from prayer and fasting to charity and honest work, is dedicated solely to Allah. You also affirm your dependence on Him for all needs, big or small. This verse serves as a powerful antidote to worldly distractions. In a world rife with materialism, social pressures, and personal desires, Surah Al-Fatiha calls you back to the essence of your faith, worshiping Allah alone. Consider a man caught in the pursuit of wealth and recognition. Despite financial success, he felt a profound emptiness. One day, during prayer, the verse "You alone we worship and you alone we ask for help" struck him deeply. He realized he had been worshiping wealth instead of Allah. This awakening transformed his life, shifting his focus to worship and charity, bringing him lasting peace no worldly achievement could provide. Tawheed also clarifies your relationships. Centering your life around Allah frees you from unhealthy dependencies and the need for external validation. Knowing true contentment comes only from Him. A young woman dealing with heartbreak found strength through this verse. She realized her reliance on another for happiness had weakened her connection with Allah. Redirecting her heart towards Him, she discovered peace and healing. The opening verses describing Allah as the most merciful, the especially merciful, remind you of His majesty, compassion, and intimate awareness of your struggles. This knowledge reinforces sincere worship and trust in His guidance. Tawheed demands action too. Declaring Allah's oneness commits you to reject anything that compromises your faith, whether associating partners with Him, prioritizing worldly desires, or placing excessive trust in people or possessions. A man once facing a difficult financial choice drew courage from this verse, making faith-aligned decisions despite risks. His reliance on Allah brought unexpected blessings and strengthened his belief in Tawheed. Every recitation of Surah Al-Fatiha can renew your dedication to Tawheed. Imagine standing before Allah, fully aware of His oneness and wholly reliant on His guidance. Not just speaking these words, but living them. Reflect on how this shapes your actions, relationships, and response to life's challenges.